Guitar Collector Guy presents Building a Gibson Les Paul.
If you like this video, click like, subscribe, and notify.
I've been buying guitar parts from Stratosphere.com for at least a couple years. I built many a Gibson and Fender guitar from the parts that they sell. I've not spoken to anyone there, but I believe that they buy assembled guitars from the manufacturers and then disassemble them into subparts/modules and then sell them off. As an example, the other day I saw a Fender Artist model, Stratocaster body, neck, loaded pickguard, and other parts from the same guitar for sale in the newly added parts section. I could tell that they had disassembled a guitar and put all of its parts on the website at the same time. As I panned down the list of newly released parts, I saw the same for other guitars. Once I purchased from them parts for a 1952 Telecaster reissue, and I actually got a matching neck and body from the same guitar. It was very cool to end up with a brand new USA made Fender guitar for a lot less than what it would cost me to buy a fully assembled guitar. Every once in a while they release Gibson bodies with necks. You just need to watch the website as they are not a constant offering. I suggest signing up for their email alerts. They also have stores on eBay and Reverb as well, showing what I can tell the same parts offerings. I have so far purchased several Gibson SGs of various models and Gibson Les Pauls as well. You can pick up a tribute model for a Gibson Les Paul or a Gibson SG for less than $5.99. I have seen them go for as little as $4.99. Filming this video, I perused their website and saw Les Paul Studios as well as higher-end Les Paul models for sale. They also had a full offering of Epiphone bodies with necks. I really love building out a Gibson model guitar from their parts selection. I kind of feel like I'm breaking some sort of rule by doing this. I think it's because I do not have the skills yet to build a set neck guitar from scratch. The Gibson bodies with necks make for a fairly easy guitar build project. You get a unit that already has all of the holes drilled in the right places, so all you're doing is reassembling the guitar with the parts you have or acquire. For this video, I purchased a Gibson USA Les Paul tribute model body and neck that's in the American Cherry Burst finish for $5.99. I then spent a few weeks finding additional parts that I did not already have. I had a really nice set of Gibson Deluxe tuners, a 1950s style wiring harness from Emerson Custom, and a coveted custom-made set of Mojo Tone 59 clone humbucker PAF pickups that I was really excited to finally have a guitar to install them into. This was a grand start to giving this Les Paul tribute body a 1950s soul and a new life in my collection. I scrounged the rest of the parts from here and there online, mainly using resources like Amazon, eBay, Reverb, Stratosphere, and other parts houses. I was excited when the very last part was delivered to my home. This would be the very first time I had done a full Gibson Les Paul build video on the channel. I ended up filming the raw video over a very hot afternoon in Northern California during a 4-hour period of time. When I was all done and hung her up on the staging wall behind my desk, I was very satisfied with myself and proud as I walked outside and locked the shop door for the day. Looking at the guitar, you can see that it comes with all of the hardware mounted in the body to mount the bridge and tailpiece. The guitar does not come with any paperwork or certificate of authenticity, although some of the Fenders that I've purchased from them actually do. Since this was a finished guitar before being sold to Stratosphere, it has all the holes drilled for you as I had said before. It even comes with a switch and control cavity covers on the back. After installing the tuners, I removed the covers on the back of the guitar so I could install the 3-way switch assembly and the wiring harness. I built this 3-way switch assembly and cover its build in another video that I just released the other day in great detail. You'll have to feed the 3 labeled wires through the body to the control cavity. The switch will fit in the switch cavity but may require a little angling to insert properly. Next, after installing the 3-position wiring harness, I'm going to install the Emerson Custom 50s Les Paul wiring harness. Using the diagram that came with the Emerson harness, if you look at the harness, you'll see the ground wires circle the assembly except for one side. Basically, if you look at it, you can see that there's a wire soldered between each of the pots, the back of the pots, in a circular fashion that go between all 4, leaving one side, though, open, making a U shape. The open end of the U, in this case, points face towards the neck of the guitar when installed with the guitar positioned as I show in the video. This will place the neck volume and tone pots at the top and the bridge volume and tone pots at the bottom. One note, the large brown electronic components you can see are actually Bumblebee capacitors. These are Emerson branded capacitors that you can buy online from them or other sellers. This Emerson 50 style wiring harness has the following specs and can be purchased for between $109 and $120 assembled depending on where you purchase from. It has 4 each of the 500K CTS pots, 1 mono switchcraft 1/4 inch jack, and then 2 each of the Emerson Bumblebee paper and oil capacitors, 1 on the bridge at 0.022 microfarads and 1 at 0.015 microfarads on the neck. I ordered this set of Mojotone 59 clone humbucker pickups a ways back for another video project. They take approximately 90 days from the time you order to delivery. I ended up going another way on the other project, so I saved these for a rainy day. Here's what Mojo states when describing these pickups online. The 59 patent applied for clones are for the tone purists, authentic to every detail using all American made parts. These pickups are very clear and warm with lots of single note articulation. The upper frequency range has exceptional bloom and lots of airy tone with the unpotted coils. We meticulously wound each coil with our own pattern and offset to represent what we believe to be the best vintage PAF examples on the market today. For a set, they will cost you about $228.95, which is fairly reasonable compared to a comparable pickup from other companies like Seymour Duncan, who produces the Seth Lover PAFs for around $258. Because they're made for you when you order them, I kind of consider them to be kind of a custom pickup. You can actually at the time of order pick specific specifications and so on. So it's kind of like, to be honest with you, like ordering from the mod shop with Fender, in my opinion. It's kind of cool. Mojotone has really come into their own with the pickups now that they manufacture. They've gained an amazing amount of praise from publications as well as players alike, and I have to add myself to that long list. These pickups, I would describe them as incredible. I ordered a set of Gibson brand pickup rings. You can get cheaper for no name branded rings, but I have had issues with those with fit, so I tend to spend more and get name brand for my builds. Both rings are labeled for which pickup they should be installed with. Also, they taper down on one side, so one side ends up being taller than the other. The taller side should always be facing the bridge of the guitar when installed. The pickups came with the mounting hardware to mount the pickups to the rings, to each of the long screws, and then the springs, and are easy to install. The pickup rings came with the 4 screws to install into the guitar. The guitar body that I purchased from Stratosphere already had the holes drilled and properly sized for these screws. With the rings that I purchased for the neck pickup, the screws are actually longer in the back and shorter in the front, so make sure you're installing the screws correctly that way. For the pickup ring that I installed on the bridge pickup, I actually saw no difference, at least with this set that I had purchased, of the length of the screws. So since you already have a lot of wires that look the same because they're the braided wires coming out of the control cavity of the guitar, it's really important then to take your time and label each of the pickup wires coming through so you know which is which. I was a little lazy in this task. I labeled basically the neck pickup, and then since it would be the very last wire that was coming through, I didn't actually label the bridge pickup, and I just assumed that I would be smart enough to know that. So installing the bridge pickup was the same. One thing that I didn't mention about installing the neck pickup is have the adjustable poles facing towards the neck for the neck pickup. For the bridge pickup, you want the adjustable poles facing towards the rear, pointing towards the bridge. Installing was pretty much the same. I took the ring, I basically installed the 2 screws with the springs onto the pickup ring. I made sure that when installing the ring, that the taller portion of the ring was facing towards the rear, so it would be on the same side as the pickup that has the adjustable pole pieces. Then once I was done putting the screws into the ring, I then set the pickup assembly with the ring into the top of the guitar and installed the 4 screws. I remember in this case, the 4 screws, at least in the Gibson set pickup rings that I got, actually these screws were all the same length, so it didn't matter which I installed where. So now came the fun part of basically soldering the pickups to the volume pots and also attaching the output jack. So the first thing is the guitar already came with a ground
installed to the bridge. So I soldered it to the tone volume pot and then clipped off the excess. So next, I don't want a lot of excess wire in the control cavities. So I measure out the lengths of wire so they will reach easily with a little bit of slack, basically the volume controls. And so then I clip off the excess. I will pull back the braided wire. So there's about 1.5 inches exposed of the fabric cover of the center conductor. And then I will pull back then the center conductor to expose basically about 1/2 inch of wire. And then I will tin it if it's not already tinned from the manufacturer. And then I'm prepped basically for soldering this to the volume control. For this specific style of wiring harness, I'll be installing the neck pickup center conductor to the very bottom leg of the volume control. And then once I solder it in place, I'll actually pull the braided shield forward, and that's my ground. The center conductor is my hot, and I will actually then also solder the braided shield to the back of the neck volume control. So next, I've prepped the wire for the bridge pickup, and I do exactly the same thing as I did with the neck. I pull back some of the braided shield. I pull back some of the cloth insulator for the center conductor. I tin the wire, and then in the same exact position, but on this pot, I install the neck pickup wire on the very bottom pull on the pot. And once I'm done soldering to the leg of the pot, I then solder the braided shield to the back of the pot. After prepping the cable that comes from the 3-position switch intended for the neck pickup, I solder it to the middle conductor, and then the braid itself soldered to the back of the pot as well, in the same manner that I did the pickup wire installations. I then repeat and do the same thing for the bridge pot by prepping the wire and then soldering it to the middle position of the bridge pot. Once I've soldered the 2 leads to the output jack, I will, at this point, plug basically the guitar into a small amp, and then in each of the positions for the 3-position switch, I will tap the pull pieces with the volume knobs up all the way to see if I can actually hear an audible pop when I touch them, and just to make sure that basically that everything at a really high level is functioning, and the pickups are kind of functioning as little microphones, which is what they are. So the next to last steps is to put the switch covers on the switch cavity and the control cavity, as well as the control cavity, put the screws in and tighten them down, followed by turning the guitar over and installing a Gibson pickguard. The 2 screws, one near the neck and then one on the side of the body. Last, you install the bridge components, install strings, and then you go through a full setup, basically checking the neck relief, string height, and intonation, and you got a good playable guitar. Really appreciate you being here. Hope you come back and watch more. If you like this video, click like, subscribe, and notify.